all know that Vol Nation is all over the country. Traveling to games is a fun time for the entire family, but deciding where to stay can be a bit stressful. That's where the Big Orange Faithful at the Hampton Inn downtown come in. General Manager Stephen Lawrence and his team go over and beyond to make sure that you have the best stay in their brand new rooms. They have the cleanest rooms in the game, which include flat screen, microwave, and fridge. Not to mention breakfast is included in the room rate. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the best part. The Hampton Inn downtown is less than a mile from Neyland Stadium. While you're planning your game day trips, be sure to check out Hampton Inn online at hamptoninn.com and search Knoxville. Book Hampton Inn downtown today.
Due to a special purchase, Beatty Chevrolet has over 100 pre-owned crossovers and SUVs at tremendous savings during the $1 Million Markdown event. 100 crossovers and SUVs from Chevrolet, Ford, Nissan, Volkswagen, Toyota, Honda, Mazda, and more. All makes and models starting at $89.95. And we'll buy your vehicle on the spot. Plus, get the Beatty warranty for life during the $1 Million Markdown. Only at Beatty Chevrolet in Knoxville or shop BeattyChevrolet.com. Sale prices plus tax, title, and license.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain event.
Guess what time it is? My time. You can check your iPhone. Better say it's our time.
With your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Rick Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. 865-250-5503 is our telephone number to the B-Dry Waterproofing Hotline. Hour 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. It is December the 5th, 2 minutes past the top of the hour. December the 5th. Yesterday was TC and Athens' birthday, so happy belated birthday to TC and Athens. And today is my youngest daughter's birthday. So it's going to be some cupcake eating. Ben, you ready?
If you save me a cupcake, I would be very pleased.
Oh, that reminds me. I left the cupcakes in my trunk. I got to get that before my family goes to school today.
We will take an early break then for this first. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that is probably a good thing. Also, since it's negative 27 degrees outside, do you think the cupcakes are frozen by this point?
Nah, man, we good to go.
You sure?
Yeah, we good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, we good to go. What a day, man. Tennessee basketball gets the win in their scrimmage game last night.
According to my sources, it was, in fact, the most boring basketball game in Tennessee basketball history. My sources can confirm that. It was miserable, if I'm being quite honest.
It looked boring.
It was boring. Nothing was exciting about it. You could tell the players didn't want to be there. Florida A&M has had just the most ridiculous schedule to begin the season. I don't have their full list of teams that they've played off the top of my head or in front of me, but they are 0-7 now following the loss to Tennessee, but they haven't played anybody like horrendously bad. It's been schools like Tennessee. They flew in from Kansas State the day before, had issues with their plane, and I think they play 10 or so straight road games before they even play a home game. It was just a miserable game. It was by far the worst crowd. It will be the worst crowd of the season. It is to this point, and there won't be another crowd that is not as lightly packed as it was last night.
I had a friend reach out to me yesterday, and they were like, "Hey, you want to go to the game?" I was like, "Yeah, but I can't because late notice." And I was preparing dinner and going over some game film with my daughter, her basketball game, and so. But what I should have said is, "No, man, I really don't want to go to the game. I'm good, man. I'm good." 0-6 basketball team. No, I'm good. But it was cool to see
Florida A&M in their Russell Athletic uniforms.
Dude, I could not decide whether it was, my 5th grade rec league jersey that I wore, or whether it was the basketball version of the jerseys that you would have when you would create a team on NCAA football.
Yeah, they look like practice jerseys, to be honest.
Yes.
Speaking of attire, what name are we going to give Jeremy Pruitt's shoes? Because, when you go to the store,
What are those?
when you go to the store, there's always a name given to the shoe. It could be Adidas, it could be Ultra Boost, it could be Nike, Air Max, Jordan, retro, 2s or 3s or whatever. Every shoe, they have some type of identification attached to it. So what do we call Pruitt's shoes that he wears? We calling those Air Pruitts?
I think it has to be something along those lines. All of the best athletes, or I guess now that there are musical or musicians, actors that have their own line of shoes, that they all have their name involved. The LeBrons, the KDs, the Jordans, the Yeezys. So it needs to be the Pruitts. But the question is, are we going to add something onto it?
Yeah.
Is this like the Pruitt ones, since this is really the first shoe that we've taken note of?
Yeah. This is what I'm going to do, just because I'm extra sometimes, and I'm going to a
Tennessee receivers tend to be extra.
big box store today, and I'm going to go to the shoe section, and I think $10 is worth it. And I'm going to find me what I think will be considered some Air Pruitts, and I'm going to get them.
No, you won't.
Yes, I am. And I'm going to create a logo, and I'm going to put them on the side of these Air Pruitts. And I will rock these Air Pruitts. Yes, I will.
I don't believe you.
I'm going to do it. I am a little bit of a sneakerhead. It's been a thing of mine for years, but I've kind of settled down on that with kids and other things to take care of. But I think this will be a shoe that I need to add to my collection, some Air Pruitts, until we find a better name for them. So I can't wait. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a picture online of Pruitt. He's traveling the country conducting home visits for recruiting, and so you see recruits taking pictures with the Tennessee staff, and there's Pruitt, khakis, Tennessee, pullover or polo, and the shoes are your typical dad shoes or bowling shoes. You can use them for bowling too.
They are not even dad shoes. They are grandpa shoes.
Grandpa shoes, but definitely bowling shoes.
Those are the shoes that my Paul, my mom's dad, my grandfather, those are the shoes that he wore to my wedding over the summer.
Hey, man, I think it's great. I asked a question on Twitter, what are those? Someone replied and said, those are butt-kicking shoes.
Yes.
But he used a different word. And
No.
It is 7 o'clock, so I'll be good. But I think that's what we should call them, the butt kickers.
The Pruitt butt kickers.
the butt kickers.
Or the Pruitt BKs.
those are the BKs, man. They the butt kickers, man. There it is. We have our name. That didn't take long at all. 865-255-03. Speaking of butt kicking, there was a press conference yesterday in college football. This press conference happened in New Jersey with Rutgers, and I didn't think Tennessee would be dropped, but the reporter did ask Greg Schiano about Tennessee, and boy, he threw some shade down here. Man, he threw some shade down here. So
apparently, you and I are not very intelligent.
yeah, we'll throw some. We'll share that shade that he threw down here, and then also remember yesterday we talked about Juwan Jennings, and we really did not want to get into that conversation because we felt like the NCAA, but the SEC had kind of forgot about the incident because we didn't hear anything about a suspension on the Wednesday. So I figured, hey, let's just keep it moving and hopefully nothing will happen. Nothing will come of it. Yesterday, the SEC announced a half-game suspension for senior wide receiver Jawan Jennings for his extracurricular activities after his awesome hit on the sideline against Vanderbilt. But he did step on someone's face, and you can't do that in football. We'll also discuss that here in hour number 1. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, live here from the Low T Center studio. Be right back.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
The holidays are right around the corner, which means holiday party season will be here before you know it. This year, how about a dead-end rendition on your holiday tradition? Get festive at your holiday party with a catered meal from Dead End Barbecue. Their holiday menu offers traditional dishes with a dead-end twist, like their smoked turkey breast and cornbread dressing. To find out more about how Dead End can help you with your holiday party, give them a call at 865-212-5655 or email catering at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The holiday party menu search is over.
You're driving home, flashing blue lights in your rearview mirror. You pull over, step out of your car, and the next thing you know, you're being arrested for driving under the influence. Now what do? We all should be responsible. But remember, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. Call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza at 865-540-8300. The investigative teams at the Garza Law Firm know the justice system inside and out. They utilize cutting-edge technologies and investigative methods to prepare your specific case. Before you plead guilty to any criminal charges, call criminal defense and DUI attorney Marcos Garza. Put his number in your phone right now, 865-540-8300, because you never know when you or a friend will need it. Don't say guilty. Say Garza. 865-540-8300. 865-540-8300 and GarzaLaw.com.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Gentlemen, are you feeling tired and grumpy? It could be low T, or it could be sleep apnea. Millions of men not only suffer from low T, but also undiagnosed sleep apnea. Low T Center provides a complete health assessment to check all of your levels. And right now, they're offering a $49 home sleep test to find out if you have sleep apnea in the comfort of your own bed. Low T Center makes it quick and easy to take care of your health, and most health insurance is accepted. Call 865-392-1388 or go to lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
When you see the happy face on our truck, you'll be smiling because you'll know that you're in love.
For a limited time only, Hiller is offering 0% interest financing for up to 48 months on qualifying high-efficiency HVAC systems. With no down payment required, expert installations, and convenient monthly payments, now is the perfect time to schedule. Visit happyhiller.com today.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss stem cell treatment and PRP. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
That's right, Jason. We specialize in regenerative non-surgical orthopedics. So we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints by using ultrasound-guided injections with stem cells or PRP. And this form of treatment actually stimulates the body's own reparative process and allows for healing of the damaged tissue.
So, Doc, what makes your training different than others?
Well, Jason, I've been practicing in Knoxville for 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. So unlike the big seminars that will advertise stem cells, fly someone in for a couple hours to talk about supposed stem cells that you order off of a shelf, then they'll depart, leaving the patient wondering who will be the person injecting me and what their level of training is. At Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own bone marrow stem cells or PRP. So in other words, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, trsportsmedicine.com. East Tennessee's leader in PRP and stem cell therapy.
You're listening to the Swain event.
And you know this, man.
I don't think there's a doubt that Tennessee's fan base is the best. It's been a very long time since Tennessee has been relevant in football. But, man, our fan base is engaged. Our fan base cares. And, sometimes we get out of line. Anytime you have a tremendous amount of passion, sometimes it can be negative, but for the most part, it's positive. 85 to 90,000 fans each home game this year. That's pretty good. The bowl game is going to show how great the fans are because we're going to travel. We'll have 30 to 40,000 people at the Vol Walk, just like a home game. I saw a tweet from Tom Satkowiak. Public relations department over there at UT. Works hand in hand with Rick Barnes, and he thanked the fans, I want to say a week ago or so, because of the basketball programs in the country that have the best Twitter fan interaction. Tennessee is like third behind Duke and another blue blood. You look at the attendance of men's basketball, it's right up there with some of the blue bloods in college basketball. Ain't no denying that Tennessee fans are awesome. So much awesome.
Tennessee was number one in those Twitter interactions.
Number one?
106,000 Twitter interactions.
Number one then.
Number two, Tennessee had 106,000. Number two is Michigan, who had 77,000.
There it is. So number one.
Nearly 40,000 more interactions, which is pretty remarkable, as you said.
Yeah.
When Tennessee leads college basketball in interactions, when you consider all the blue bloods.
Yeah, we care. Caring is important. Like, you can care too much and it can be a detriment. You can care too much about something and it can destroy you. It can cause you to have tremendous amount of anxiety, and you can do too much sometimes when you care too much. But when a player loses a game, I want to see him hurt. I want to see that young lady bothered by losing a game or not making the proper play. That's a really good sign for a coach. A fan base that cares. Man, that's important. I'd rather have someone engaged than disengaged. I think Missouri will have to make a decision on who they're going to bring as a head coach because they're losing money because they have folks who are disengaged. They don't care. Juwan Jennings against Vanderbilt clearly went into a different mode when making a tackle on the Vanderbilt ball carrier. I love the tackle. It was great. Right there on the sideline. If the Vanderbilt player was a yard or two out of bounds and he would have made that hit and a flag would have been thrown for a 15-yard penalty, late hit, I would have loved that too, to be honest. Sometimes you got to send a message. But everything after the tackle, I can't defend. I will not defend. Tennessee or not, I'm not defending that. I was concerned that he was going to be disciplined. I really was. And the SEC yesterday did that. They handed down discipline for Juwan Jennings, and he will miss the first half of his last college football game, his last time wearing the Power T. He'll get a chance to wear it again in the Senior Bowl or College All-Star game, but it will be his last time wearing the Power T with his teammates. So I know that stinks for him, and I know he's feeling bad about that. But here's a lesson about being held accountable, and hopefully he learns that and it helps him moving forward in NFL or in life. But the biggest gripe here amongst Tennessee fans, and again, I appreciate Tennessee fans because we care, dude. We support and defend our own. We also eat our own too at times, but we haven't had much of a problem with that as of late, except when it comes to the quarterback. Here's the biggest gripe that we have, and I have. I don't disagree with with punishing Jawan Jennings. I don't think he was innocent. You're not going to convince me. If you think he was innocent, we can agree to disagree. You can't step on someone's face in football. And the Vanderbilt player's helmet is not off if everyone just gets up like they're supposed to do. I've been tackled a ton in the SEC. My helmet just doesn't come off by itself. Here's a problem that the SEC has. You're inconsistent, SEC. You're inconsistent. You're inconsistent. You allowed Kentucky to do their own internal fake punishment for Cash Daniel when Cash Daniel was clearly shown on video trying to twist the ankle of the Florida quarterback in their game earlier in the season. Was Cash Daniel officially suspended? No. But he did not play in the first quarter, missed a portion of the second quarter in their next game against Mississippi State. So he didn't start. You allow Kentucky to do their own punishment. Now, we've seen this happen before in this conference with Nick Saban. Nick Saban, handled things internally. Oh, speaking of Nick Saban, Alabama, last year when Alabama played Missouri, Alabama had a player looking like E. Honda from Street Fighter throwing hands after making a tackle.
Shout out to Raekwon Davis.
I mean, he was looking like Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Rocky on his knees, landing body blows to the Missouri player in the middle of the field. Where were the referees there? That play was the most clear violation than the three examples that we're talking about right now. Because Jawan Jennings' play happened on the sideline. There's so many people on the sideline. Hard for all the referees to get over there and see actually what happened.
Yeah, everybody is stuck on the point of, well, it wasn't reviewed during the game. It wasn't called a flag during the game. That does not matter, quite frankly, because of what you just said.
Don't matter.
There were so many people on the sideline. The referees simply missed it. I mean, it's really as simple as that. And just because they missed an unfortunate situation on the sideline doesn't mean that the SEC should go back and review it. And if the SEC feels like they should suspend somebody, they should.
The SEC is inconsistent.
Yes.
That's our problem here. It's like you driving down 40 and the speed limit, I don't even know what the speed limit is. I think it's 60, right? Somewhere around there.
On 40?
I think it's 60, 65. Let's just say it's 65.
If you don't know the speed limit, does that mean you speed?
Probably. Everyone speeds on 40.
Absolutely.
So let's just say the speed limit is 65 on 40. If everyone's going 75 and an officer pulls over someone for going 75, but then doesn't pull another dude over or lady going for 75, there's where the issue lies. There is inconsistency right there. Same thing here with the SEC. Raekwon Davis going Floyd Money Mayweather on a Missouri player. Cash Daniels twisting the ankle of a quarterback. Don't y'all like protecting quarterbacks? You can't even sneeze on a quarterback in today's game with football. Can't hit him low, can't hit him high, can't talk about his mama, can't do anything, or he gets a penalty. So you allowed a Kentucky player to twist the ankle of a quarterback and nothing was done officially by the SEC. Kentucky just gave him some little weak suspension for a quarter and a half, and he didn't start. But no one talked about it. No one addressed it. No one said, hey, this is what happened. We're not allowing this to happen in the SEC. Cash Daniels had some corny, weak excuse. Mark Stoops was scared and nervous. He didn't want to talk about it. Like, no one handled it like a professional. No one handled it like a man. Everyone danced around it. But when it comes to Tennessee, SEC gives a statement. Tennessee gives a statement. Where is the consistency? That's my biggest problem. I'm okay with the discipline because Juwan was wrong. Where is the consistency from the SEC? It's been like that in officiating. It's been like that in this case here with punishment. That's my biggest issue.
Consistency is nowhere, as Derek Dooley would say. You and I pretty much agree on this entire topic of conversation. Where we do disagree, though, is I don't believe that Juwan Jennings should be suspended because I am of the belief that you need to – I don't think that you can 100% prove that Juwan Jennings stepped on his face on purpose from the video. I don't think that you can.
Why does it matter?
Because what if he truly was not intentionally trying to step on his face? Well, what if he wasn't? Then Juwan does not deserve to be suspended. Do I tend to think that Juwan did it on purpose? Honestly, I do. Honestly, I do. Just because we all know how Juwan Jennings is. And unfortunately for Juwan, he doesn't necessarily get the benefit of the doubt because of his past and kind of the stigma around him of how he plays the game, and he's tough-nosed, and whether that's fair or not, he just simply does not get the benefit of the doubt. So to be honest with you, I do think that Juwan probably intended to do it. That is my opinion. But the video that has been presented to us publicly, I don't think that you can see in that video 100% intent to step on that Vanderbilt player's face. And if he did 100% try to do it, then he deserves more than a half-game suspension. He should be suspended the full game, which is another thing that I don't understand. If the SEC does think that Juwan purposefully tried to step on the Vanderbilt player's face, even with a helmet on, why does Juwan only get a half-game suspension?
I have a theory.
Because to me, that is worth more than a half-game suspension.
I have a theory. Here's my theory. This is why I think the SEC suspended Juwan for only a half a game rather than the entire game, because they can't prove intent. It's like the point I made on Monday about your grandma. Your grandma, they don't need to know exactly what you're doing to know that you're doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. Old folks got this intuition about themselves. What? Whoa, wait a minute, Ben. What you doing in there? You quiet. You doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, stop it, because you're doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. When you look at Juwan make that tackle, you don't need to know details to know that Juwan is doing something that he shouldn't be doing. You make a tackle, you get up. If it takes you that long to get up, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing.
Right. And
period. You're either taunting or you're doing something else physically. And so the young man's helmet was off. I think the NCAA was like, we can't prove intent, but we know you did something you're not supposed to be doing, so here's a half game.
Right. You did too much in the first place.
Yeah. If we felt more confident about your intent, you probably would have gotten a full game. That's what I think the SEC was thinking on that incident.
Yeah, and RGJ Vols made the same exact point on the text box as you just made. He 100% intended to rip his helmet off on the ground first, which then implies intent when stepping on his face. It's hard to give Juwan the benefit of the doubt that he didn't step on the guy's face on purpose after he had just laid on top of him. Lord knows what he was saying to him down there on the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
And then he's kind of being aggressive with everybody there on the sideline.
You can intend on pushing someone, but what happens after you push someone, you don't really have control over. I'll give you an example. Georgia Tech assistant coach a couple years ago got into a incident with someone, and he pushed him, and that man fell and hit his head and wound up passing away. Well, the assistant coach from Georgia Tech didn't mean to intentionally try to kill him. He just pushed him or hit him, and the fall and the hit to the head is what ended the man's life. So I understand saying, okay, he didn't intend to step on the guy's face, but if Juwan was doing what he's supposed to be doing, the Vanderbilt player would have had his helmet on. And even if you would have stepped on his head unintentionally, with his helmet on, it wouldn't have been a big deal, to be honest. There's players all the time that when you're getting up off the pile, you're stepping on someone's hand, you're stepping on someone's helmet, and you can tell if it's an accident or not. You're just trying to get up.
Part of the game.
You can also tell when someone's doing it on purpose. You can tell.
Yes.
So I think that's why Juwan got only a half game, because he was doing too much, but you can't prove intent.
Right.
And I think, for me, I don't think intent really matters on punishing him, because he was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
You're right.
Yeah,
just the whole frustrating part about it is, and you've already hit on this, is just the fact that the SEC is so inconsistent. With Cash Daniel, it 100% appears that he is trying to twist the ankle of, I believe it was Felipe Franks, if I'm not mistaken, trying to snap the ankle.
I think it was Kyle Trask.
Whoever it was.
I think it was Trask. I think Trask was in at that time.
But he was 100% trying to snap that ankle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was trying to twist his ankle.
Unless I'm just forgetting something, there was no comment from the SEC that they reviewed it. He obviously was not suspended. I mean, there's just no consistency with it. And another talking point amongst fans is that, well, why are they waiting until Thursday? I don't really have a problem with that, simply because it's bowl season and there's several weeks before the game. Had Tennessee been playing this Saturday and then they are just announcing it on a Wednesday evening, then okay, that is frustrating, because you allow Tennessee to prepare for Saturday's game all week with the thought that Juwan is going to play, and then you suspend him for a half.
Yeah.
But because it's a bowl game and the bowl game's a month away, I don't have a problem with the SEC maybe taking some time to come down with a ruling.
The consistency. That's the issue here for me. Now, if y'all out here arguing that Juwan didn't do it on purpose, I'm sorry, you by yourself. I'm not about to argue that. Because how you know? Have you talked to Juwan? Have you heard Juwan say that to anybody? Like, how do you know? This is your love for Juwan and Tennessee showing, and that's okay. That's all right. But I am not going there with you. I can't do that. But I do think it's fair to criticize the process of these type of incidents that involved Raekwon Davis at Alabama in 2018 and Cash Daniels this year, Kentucky's linebacker against Florida. I remember, and we'll go to the phones after this, when I was in my middle school years and late elementary years and early middle school years, behavior was something that I struggled with in school. And I remember when my uncle would correct me and hold me accountable and talk to me about my behavior, one of the things I would always say is, but he was doing the same thing. I wasn't the only one. There was others too. And my uncle would say, it don't matter. You wasn't doing what you supposed to be doing. It don't matter what the other folks did. It don't matter if it's late. It doesn't matter if there was intent. You was doing what you know you wasn't supposed to be doing, period. You do right, you don't have to worry about being falsely accused. You don't have to worry about being treated unfair. Just do what you're supposed to be doing. And that's kind of how I view this. That's why the intent just doesn't matter to me, on the intent to step on someone's face. Well, if you would have just gotten on up, this wouldn't have never happened. So
the only reason I'm kind of caught up on the whole intent thing is just for the slight possibility. What if Jawan did not purposefully do it? Because in that case, he does not deserve a suspension. That's the only reason I'm kind of caught up on the whole intent thing. Just because there is the possibility that he may not have done it on purpose, and if he didn't, then he doesn't deserve to serve a suspension, especially in his last football game ever at college.
Here's why I disagree with you on that. If Jawan would have made the tackle, gotten up, and the guy, Vanderbilt player, his helmet came off because he took it off, and Jawan did everything he was supposed to do, and then he stepped on the guy's face, then I understand that. But it was the extra stuff that Jawan was doing after the tackle before the head stomp that I think this in question.
And what you just said is why I said earlier that I'm sorry, but I don't necessarily give Jawan the benefit of the doubt.
This is what
it's hard to.
This is what happens when you have a pattern of certain behavior.
And we talked about it on Monday. Jawan was being extra.
Yeah, and I hate that. And my daughter was like, when she saw the news, she was like, "What? What happened? What? Why is Jawan suspended?" Like she had the same question. I was like, all right. I mean, he stepped on somebody's face, and I was like, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt because, he has a little bit of a history. Yeah, it's a gray area, but he won't get the benefit of the doubt because of maybe the past. And I said it's no different than someone who lies a ton. If you're around someone who lies a lot and you caught them in lies, even when they're telling the truth, you're not going to believe them based on their track record. Simple as that. I got a former teammate. Did I call him in so many lies? He can tell me that the sky is blue, and I'll be like, "Nah, man, you lying. Let me go check." Let me go check. Hey, it's snowing outside. Nah, man, you lying. Let me go check. Like, I always got to check when he says something because he has a history of lying. So let's get to Tramel. Tramel, good morning.
Yo.
What's up, Tramel?
Yeah, Swain. I was that dude too. That boy, I was bad.
Hey, man, it's how you finish. It's not how you start.
You're right.
And the good Lord ain't done working on us, man. He was doing some work on us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the what I used to get all the time is, what, you gonna jump off the bridge because they did it?
Mm-hmm. I got that too.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
My smart self.
Then, you know what I'm saying?
But me being me, I was like, but what if I have a bungee cord? What about then? He was like, you want a whooping? Nah, I'm good. I'm just joking.
I'm good.
I'm sorry. I get
but
your
yeah,
point
man, I agree with you, Swain. Yeah, Ben, because, you can get in an argument with somebody, and you can be the cause of that argument, and then y'all get to jacking, and you knock that person out, and you going to jail. You know what I mean? If y'all got to arguing, you didn't mean to get into a fight with this person, but it just so happened that y'all did. You know what I'm saying? That, because when I seen the tackle, I was like, yeah, rough him up.
Yeah, me too. I loved it. Yeah.
And he stepped on him. I was like, oh.
I think Tramel during the game, I was like, man, I want blood. I want 40 points. I want 50 points. Blood. Score points. Come on. And then Jawan made that play. I was like, ooh, not that type of blood.
Yeah, rough him up.
No, that's not the blood I was talking about, Jawan. Not literal blood. I was not wanting to see that, not out of a man's face because of your cleat. No, that's not what I want. But
that was so crazy, man. So you can't say intent, but the intent was to rough him up at first. So I think that's what they're going with. You know what I'm saying? Him roughing him up, and then what happened in the end of him roughing him up. Because, he was roughing him up. I'm sorry. He was giving him the business.
He did give him the business. That was the intent. I remember I had a fight in high school. And me and this guy, we're buddies. We were buddies before, buddies afterwards. Sometimes it just happens that way. But my intent wasn't to, fight. My intent was to confront. My intent was to confront based on some things that were said. And because of how he reacted, he had to get the hands. So, I mean, like, that's kind of how I look at it here. The intent for Juwan was to bring the funk. And he did that. He just was a little extra, and you had the face kick, or I'm not gonna call it a stump, but a face step. But it was a result of the intent to be aggressive and be a little bit extra with the hit. So I just hated that. Tennessee, who has won 5 in a row, 6 out of the last 7, ton of momentum, is going to rest up, get an opponent, maybe from the Big Ten. They'll have an obvious speed advantage. Juwan is your best offensive threat, and he's not going to play in the first half. So Juwan's actions, fair or not, whatever your opinion is, fair or not, his actions hurt his football team.
Yep.
Again. Yeah. It's
Go for going, boys.
Like, I've seen Josh Dobbs make so many plays to help Tennessee win games, have a heroic performance, had an S on his chest. But just because you have a heroic performance doesn't mean that you have the right to turn the ball over and mess up and hurt your team. And Juwan has been a big reason why Tennessee has won 5 in a row, 6 out of the last 7.